heads are back. I sent them back to Texas Speed, like we said in the last video about I think we said in the last video. They say that those heads have only 6 thousandths clearance difference than a set of stock heads. So if I cleared stock heads with the cam I have, I can clear their heads, and they're like almost guaranteed. Put it together. They say they'll fit. If you cleared stock heads, it'll clear their heads. That's what they told me. And if it's got 6 thousandths clearance on stock heads, this cam shouldn't be in this motor anyways. So I doubt Brian Tooley would sell a cam that's that close ever. You know, so I'm just gonna clean the deck off, clean the pistons off a little, and I'm gonna put it together. I got a few hours by myself here, so I might be able to get it like pretty much done. The headers is gonna suck. I know putting the headers on is gonna suck, so we'll have to see how much of a bitch that is to do by myself. I really don't want to get under the truck and loosen them and try to get them lined up and stuff, but I didn't loosen them so that way I can. They kind of just are moving back and forth like this from side to side. So I'm hoping I can get them both like semi lined up and put on. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So I got let me get a flashlight. Why is the flashlight not stuck to the thing? Here it is. I'm retarded. It's right here. Got it. This is what I'm looking at. That's what it looks like. Depressing. That's what it looks like. I don't want to drive my truck so bad. We went streetcar takeover, and there was one other truck there that was this body style. I was so jelly. I'm gonna clean the water out of the holes a little more, and I gotta clean up. The heads are new, so I don't have to clean them up. But I gotta clean up this stuff here. Get all this stuff off. I'm thinking I can, because I probably just get brake cleaner and scrub them a little with a towel, and it'll all come off. Be good to go. I did this the last time, but now I don't know. The carb cleaner does a pretty decent job getting most of it off. You know, it took the motor 35,000 miles. No, sorry, 45,000 miles to even get like this bad. And when I put it together, I did the same. The last time when I put the cam in it and had to change the lifters and everything, I did the same thing that I'm doing now. I just used carb cleaner and sprayed them on there and wiped them off. I'll put a little oil in the cylinders too before I start it or put the head on. I'll squirt a little down in there, wipe the cylinders up with it. That's good enough for that one. What's the next one there? Nothing there. You should have seen the valves. Stock valves when I first took the heads apart. The stock ones, when I put the cam in, it was a lot of crusty on there. Which I guess, if you ask people, that means you should put a catch can on it, but I'm not 100% convinced that's really going to do anything because it's vapor. So it's just going to go in the catch can, and then it's just vapor, so it's just sucking the air right back out. So, my opinion, it would just suck the oil vapors right back out with the air. But I'm not an expert. I just do this for fun. That's good enough. That one. spin it over without getting down? That'd be nice. There we go. New head gasket. Goes to the front, obviously, of the motor, which is also, I guess, the front of the truck, I think. That. Not taking this back off. Once it goes on there, I'm not taking the cylinder head back off. And it's gonna run, or it's gonna fucking destroy itself. So, we'll see, I guess. I'm hoping it's the first option. I62 L86, which they're out there. There's a guy selling one for $4,800. It's an L86 with like 40,000. It's got a transmission, 8-speed transmission, and it's got a transfer case, which I don't need. I mean, I guess I could use the transmission, but I'd rather just keep the one that's in it, because I don't know if you have to change the converter if you want to run the 8-speed. I don't know. And when you're drag racing, I think less gears are supposed to be better. That's why people use power glides. What the fuck? So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Why won't this go in? What are we doing wrong here? Kinda did a weird angle. Okay. I don't know what I broke. Plastic. Broke something. Piece of plastic off of something. I was in a bind. What you do, you get mean. I tried to get ARP bolts, because there might be a point where I have to take these heads back off, and that would mean I just literally just wasted a set of head bolts. But they're sold out everywhere, and I didn't want to wait a month to get my truck back together, and then the heads were fucked up, so I had to wait a month anyways. But here's the part number for, hopefully you can see it, the Allen bolt 11611611976. Here's the bolt, and it goes here. And the rest of the bolts on both heads are all the same. The driver's side head has that bolt. And here's the part number on the other ones. 1154659. Hopefully I'm not dyslexic and that came out right. And they're just regular hex bolts with Loctite on them, torque to yield. And they go in all the rest of the holes on both sides. The other head doesn't have the Allen bolt. For why, I don't have an answer for why GM did that. Because I went to take this apart the first time and I didn't know that. So I pulled everything apart, or I pulled the motor out. Went to take the heads off, I didn't have the socket to take that Allen bolt out. I'm like, what the hell? Nobody around sells a big giant Allen socket that's not, you know, a piece of shit that's just going to snap off when you try to torque something with it. So I borrowed a big Allen set from a guy at work, brought it home, put the heads on, took it back to work the next day or weekend or whatever it was. And then I ended up buying one later on. Everything's in. I got the torque, the order, 59 foot-pounds plus 150 degrees, but I remember doing it in 3 stages, so then I went and found, that's off all data. I went and found this page. Let's see here. Cylinder head bolts, first pass 59, then 90, then 60, which is 150. Bolt number 1 is going to be this one in the middle. Okay, we're starting to torque. Into the road here. Well, that wasn't in as far as I thought it was, I guess. Now we're getting somewhere. My wrench is gonna beep at me. Now we're getting close. There we go. We gotta do that one. Back on the head install on the purple truck. It's actually like a few days later because I don't have enough time in my life to do all this. And check it out. I know that looks like a stock intake manifold because it is, but this is actually a 6.2 truck intake manifold. And according to the internet, it will make more power with this intake. And if you port it, you probably won't be able to see in there, but it's not ported. But if you ported it, it can make up to like 15 more horse with this intake. And you have to run the bigger 6.2 throttle body. Let's do a little size comparison so you can see the difference. I mean, it's definitely a bigger throttle body. And what's cool is you go on Rock Auto, this intake manifold, this is an AC Delco, so it's a GM original equipment intake. AC Delco, GM original equipment throttle body, so it's no different than these. $100? $100. That's cheap for, 7 horsepower or whatever it's supposed to be. This is different, where the PCV goes in, and when I got this intake from Rock Auto in the box, and they send it in this big box, inside this like hard-ish plastic case deal, the nipple was broke off. Broke it right off. So I bought this. Where's it at? I was like, I could just send it back, get another one, but I really want to try and put it together. So this is from Loctite. It's a plastic bonder. You use that as an activator and then glue it, and it's solid. It's on there, so we're gonna go with that. So yeah, but the only thing you have to buy to put this intake on this intake on my truck is the throttle body and a throttle body gasket. The bolts should be the same. The map sensor's the same. The purge valve goes in the same spot, right here on the side. And you have to, but the gaskets on the bottom, they're the same part number. I looked them up on Rock Auto to make sure. They're the same part number. So you don't have to replace those. I mean, they're like a molded rubber O-ring. They're soft, so they're like just same thing as this. So they kind of seal over and over and over again anyways. So you can keep reusing them for a while until they get hard, I guess. Yeah. So I'm going to take this bolt out of this throttle body and put the throttle body on that one and swap over the intake manifold gaskets, and then I got to put the other cylinder head on. Still, I'm in the exact same spot where I left off in the last video. I said I was going to work on it, and I didn't. So I'm going to put the other cylinder head on, and I want to try and see if I can get the headers on. They're such a pain in the ass to put the headers on. And if I get the headers on, I can have the truck back running. If I can get that all done today within like 2 hours, I could be driving it tonight. These don't have to be like cranking down. That's why I was holding the ratchet like that. Oh, and the PCV. So since this one's here and this one's there, you have to, the hose that connects to this, you can cut the hard plastic line. You can cut the hard plastic line, and you just get like go up to the parts store and get a piece of heater hose or something and just kind of clamp it on, and you can run it down to the PCV valve, which is in the valley cover, which is what I broke off when I was putting the other head on. I got one of those too. $6 for a Delco one. So yeah, I have to change that hose, but I mean that's not a big deal. No big deal at all. I'll cut the hose off of the ends, and then I'll go up to the store and I'll find a piece of hose that fits tight in it. What's up? I don't know. I just broke something. So this is as far as I got, and it's been three hours, I guess. My flashlight's about to die, so I'm kind of stopping. But so I'm gonna show you what it looks like. There's the other head. It's bolted on, tightened down. I haven't put the valve train or the rocker arms and push rods in on this side. I got the fuel rails on, and I put the valve cover and everything on over here. And there's 2 grounds. There's one there, there's 2 on this side that go on 1 bolt. Maybe, whatever is ground. But I think there was, it had its own separate. But then there's that. So I did those, put the injectors back in, plugged them in, everything. So I got to put the rocker arms and the push rods in on this side and put the headers on, and then put the top end together, put the alternator in, belt, put the belt back on. It's pretty close. Okay, I got the truck together, and there wasn't really anything different that's obvious that you need to show, except for this intake manifold. So, since I put the bigger intake on, let me slide this down. So, the PCV on this truck is here. It comes from like down here, basically where the valley is on the PCV, and it runs over to this port on the side. On this intake, because this is for the 6.2 here, so this is just a piece of 3/8 vacuum hose, and it slides right over those barbs, and it slides pretty tight. So what you do is, right how it's split. I split it. I just cut it with a razor knife, and it came right off of the barbs. And I just went and bought a piece of 3/8 vacuum hose, $2 or whatever from the parts store, and slid it on like that. Let me start it up. I'll put you guys back here by the muff. Sounds pretty good. And one more thing you'd have to do to put this intake on. So you had to do, goddamn S550s. You had to do this hose dealy bobber, and this coupler has to be big enough to fit on the throttle body, because this is also a bigger throttle body. Now, I don't know what size coupler this is because it comes with this cold air, this intake tube thing, but I do believe this is an air raid intake tube. It came on the truck when I got it. So, I'm not quite sure what size you'll need. I'm going to try and look around on the interwebs and see if I can find what size coupler piece you need, and I'll put it in the description, but I'm not sure what it is right now. So keep an eye in the description for that if you're curious what it takes to do that. So, yep, but the truck's back running. Other than that, it's broken off, and I'll have the intake. It's set on Wednesday, and I'll also have one more part, so I'll put the intake on in as well as the other part whenever I get them both. So, thanks for watching.